Many people love succulents because they are so easy to propagate. You can just throw a bit of a succulent on the ground and it will eventually start growing. I have accidentally dropped pieces of succulents around the nursery many a time, only to find them growing in pure gravel, on better blocks or in wood. Most succulents will grow from leaves, cuttings, by separating offsets and from seed. But can they be propagated by planting the flower stalk? Succulents flower yearly, most often at the end of winter and during spring. The flower types can vary from succulent to succulent, but many will send their flowers up in the air on a tall stalk. Many people wonder if succulents will successfully propagate from flower stalk. When we sell our succulents at the markets and they are in flower, we get asked about it all the time. Well, I have tried and experimented, so you don't have to. In this video I will show you which succulents are likely to propagate from a flower stalk and how to go about it. Just like with everything, when it comes to the term succulents, the answer is yes and no. There are many very different plants that are classified as succulents, and some will propagate from a flower stalk while others won't. It is also quite hard to predict which succulents will and which will not grow a new plant if you were to propagate the flowers. In my experience, the great majority will not grow a new plant if you try to propagate the flower stalk. And the same applies to the leaves that grow on flower stalks. Some succulents may grow a new plant when the flower leaves are propagated, but many will just grow another flower. Over the 10 years I have owned my succulent nursery, I've tried to propagate many different succulent species and cultivars from flowers, and these are the ones that work for me. I've tried propagating about 100 different varieties of succulents from flower stalks. Most have not grown and died, but some started to grow roots and new plants from the base or between the leaves. This is Echeveria painted frills, and it is a hybrid of Echeveria shaviana and nodulosa. I have had great success with propagating most Echeveria nodulosa flowers. The flower stalk has proper roots and about 4 little pups growing between the leaves. They eventually grew nice and big, and I was able to separate and grow them on their own. Another group of succulents that propagate well from flower stalks are Echeveria pulvinata. These are the hairy Echeveria such as Doris Taylor, Frosty or Ruby. This is Echeveria pulvinata ruby with a pup growing out of a dying flower stalk. It took about 2 months from planting the flower to getting new growth. I've also had some success with Echeveria affinis such as the Black Knight, Black Prince or Serrana. Many Kalanchoe species will propagate from flowers too. Some new branches are already forming at the base of the flowers here. The thing with these plants is that they are quite prolific and can spread fast, so there really is no need to propagate flowers when you can take loads of cuttings. I've noticed one common denominator with all the flowers that will propagate and grow a new plant. They are all quite thick and usually have lots of large leaves growing on the stalk. Stalks that always rot or dry out and never send roots are thin, just like this one here. Cacti are also succulents, but their flowers will never propagate if they are cut off and planted. Instead, they will produce seeds when pollinated, so watch out for seed pods. Succulent flowers can be planted just like cuttings. After being cut, they should be left in a dry spot out of the sun for at least 24 hours so the wound has a chance to heal. Here I have a bunch of different flower stalks. I have not tried to propagate these particular species this way before, though I already know some will make it. When it comes to plants, sometimes it is best to just experiment. Even though I know most of these will probably die, there may be 1 or 2 that will surprise me. I want this to take as little time as possible, and so I'm just going to divide the flower stalks between these 2 pots. You can use pots propagating trays like the ones I have here, or just plain plastic trays food gets wrapped in. I opted for pots as the stalks are tall and heavier on the top due to the flowers. Deeper the pot, better the stalk will hold in place. The thinner stalks will go in one pot. There is very little chance any of these will grow a new plant. I will post an update on how they're doing in a month or two. We're just heading into spring, and so any new growth should happen quite fast. I have high hopes for these thicker flower stalks. They are much heavier, and so I may need a bit of supports to hold them in place. If I'm right about these, the new baby plants will start poking out between the leaves or growing from the base in about 3 to 4 weeks. After I've planted all the stalks, I'll put them in a greenhouse under 30% shade cloth, just like I do with any fresh cuttings that don't have roots yet. I'm also going to water the stalks every time the potting mix dries up. Flower stalks that start growing roots are likely to propagate and grow a new bulb. You can check on their progress by gently tagging upwards 3 to 4 weeks after planting. If they come out clean and the base looks brown or rotted, it is unlikely they will grow. If they, however, feel like they don't want to come out or pull out with tiny roots, there is a good chance your flower stalk's propagation efforts will be successful. To recap, most succulents will probably not propagate from flower stalk, but there are some that will. If the stalk is quite thick and also grows larger leaves, the chances are much higher than with thin stalks. You can always set up a quick experiment and just plant the stalks you would like to propagate into pots. You never know and might just get lucky. And that's it for today. I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to learn more about succulents, you can subscribe to our channel or visit our website succulentgrowingtips.com.